Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm on Facebook right now.
We are live now, David.
Okay. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Should we let them in? The waiting room people? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and we're on. Welcome, everyone. My name is David Cons, and I'm an Education USA advisor from Mexico. And today, this is our professional roundtable in which we will be discussing the topic of health and medicine, sort of, a category of topics. And before we start, I'd like to remind you to keep your mic and your camera off as it is not allowed to turn it on. And also, if you have any questions, please write them in the chat. You can direct them to Q&A, and they will be able to answer pass over your questions for our dear presenters. Okay, and also remember this session is actually being recorded, so you can watch it later on our YouTube channel. Okay, very good. So welcome. This is our professional roundtable. Okay, before we start, we'd like to have this short poll. If you could write on the comments where you come from, please. Okay, maybe you come from Mexico, maybe you come from Latin America, like South America, maybe in the United States, I don't know. Okay, feel free. I'll give you a few minutes. Well, a short while, yes. Houston, Texas. Whoa, nice. Guyana. Oh, wow. Oh, we have a broad audience today. Okay, well, okay, well, I can imagine we have some people from Mexico as well. So, well, everyone is welcome. Welcome, everyone. Okay, so that's great. It's great that we have so many people interested in studying in the US. It's very delightful. Okay, so next I'm going to talk a little bit about what Education USA is. Okay, Education USA is a network, a US Department of State network that promotes US higher education. Okay, we as advisors advise potential international students, and we offer accurate, comprehensive, and current information regarding higher education institutions all around the US. Okay, and we support US higher education institutions in their efforts to recruit international students. Remember that Education USA is your official source on higher education in the US, okay? So I'm gonna pass the word to my colleague. He will be presenting our beautiful and talented presenters, okay? So Luis.
Hello, everyone. Well, it is my pleasure to introduce today's guests for our roundtable talking about healthcare. And I'm going to start with Megan Mankarian Stem, Director of International Enrollment Office of Undergraduate Admissions at Creighton University. Is the Director of International Enrollment at Creighton University. She has worked in international education for over 10 years and has traveled to 60 plus countries. Her favorite part of her job is working with students and families to understand higher education in the US and find programs of best fit. When she's not traveling or working with students, Megan enjoys spending time with her rescue dogs, Wrigley, Phoebe, and Oscar. Welcome, Megan. Thank you very much. The next on our list is Mary Hess, International Admission Coordinator from Miami University, Office of International and Transfer Admission, is the International Admission Coordinator at Miami University. She works with students from South America, Latin America, and the Caribbean. Mary holds a bachelor's degree in marketing and Spanish and a master's degree in leadership and higher education. During her master's program, she was the graduate assistant in the International Student Services Office and working to provide cultural, academic, and social support for international students. Mary enjoys traveling, learning about different cultures, and trying new foods. Mary studied abroad in Mexico, Italy, and Uganda during college and has visited over 10 different countries. She loves sharing all the great opportunities Miami has to offer to international students to help them achieve their goals. Thank you very much, Mary Hess, and welcome. The next one that we have here on our list is Jennifer K. Hunter, Admissions and Visibility Strategy Manager from Rice University. As the Admissions and Visibility Strategy Manager for the Office of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, Jennifer monitors metrics and trends to craft communication strategies. She maintains websites, develops social media strategies, and promotes Rice as a premier place for graduate study in the United States. Jennifer has worked in higher education since 2005. She has a bachelor's degree in public relations from the University of Florida and a Master of Science in Library and Information Studies from Florida State University. And our last guest is Maria Cuercuera, International Advisor, Office of International Students and Scholars at Rice University, is an international advisor for exchange scholars at OISS. She oversees the immigration paperwork process for exchange scholars at Rice University and assists with the orientation program for international undergraduate students. Maria was born and raised in Mexico City. She has a teacher's degree from the Instituto Femenino Mexicano and a law degree from the UNAM. Maria moved to Houston in 1999 and has been working at Rice University since 2007. Both her daughters graduated from Rice University, one with a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering and the second one with a bachelor's in biochemistry. Maria has been a Weiss Associate, one of the residential colleges at Rice, for over 10 years. So welcome everybody. Thank you very much for being our guest in today's panel. Now, I'm going to pass on to the virtual floor to Mabel and to you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Luis, and welcome everyone again. So hopefully after today's session, you will have a better understanding of where to begin when you are trying to look up information about how to study medicine or any other health-related program. So let's start with medicine and let's start with Megan. Megan, many international students have misconceptions about studying medicine in the US. They think that they can enroll into a medicine program just after they complete their high school program. So therefore, I have the following question. Is medicine available at a graduate level in the United States?
So the answer to that, the short answer is no. So the US is very, very unique in how you study medicine, as well as a lot of other healthcare programs. So the US, it's a two-part process. So first, you'll actually do your bachelor's degree. If you're thinking medicine in particular, you're actually going to want to look for a pre-medicine program. One of the cool things about studying in the US, though, is that you have a lot of flexibility with your pre-medicine program. At most universities, you'll pick a major to study with it. Most students will pick a science, so like biology, biochemistry, chemistry, neuroscience, psychology, sometimes exercise science, and you'll do that pre-medicine program and complete your bachelor's degree. The cool thing is, though, is that you can also do any other major you want. So if you want to study theater or business or political science or English and still do that pre-medicine program, you can do that. Once you complete your bachelor's degree, after that is when you go to medical school. So you'll do your first 4 years of your bachelor's degree, and then you'll go on to your 4 years of medical school after that.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan. I think that explains why you cannot just enroll in medicine into the US. Although I have heard that there are some pre-medicine courses or pre-medicine aspects that students can take. And for that, if I am an international student and let's say I approach to Mary, where should I start if I aim to pursue a career in medicine in the US, according to your experience?
So I would say the first thing you want to do is kind of look at the different universities you're looking at for a bachelor's degree and see if they offer a pre-medical either major or like what we have at Miami, it's a pre-medical co-major. So you major in something and then you take a track of pre-medical courses. So you're taking professional development courses, you're having advising with a pre-medical advisor and mentor who's going to kind of help you with the application process for medical school. And then you're also, taking the correct courses that you need, like the sciences and the maths and things like that. So I would just also see if what other support services they offer and helping you prepare for medical school and the application process as well.
Thank you. And for that, you can also always reach out to your closest Education USA Center. We can help you figure it out, which can be the best fit for you. I would like to also ask this question, but to Maria Corcuera, because she might have a different perspective because she is from Mexico and she has a daughter. And I will love to hear how you as a parent or probably share a little bit of the experience of your daughter when she was trying to find a school to study medicine. Where did she or you or both of you start?
Sure. I would like to highlight the benefit of going an undergrad program before applying for college, for the med school, because I had two daughters. The first one wanted to be a doctor. And when she enrolled in the undergrad program, then she had enough time to learn about other options, and then she switched. She didn't continue with that path. Now the youngest one, she is at Baylor and she's studying medicine. And you get a lot of resources when you go into a university like the one we work in, because they offer you so many, you're exposed to research in different places, you're exposed to other careers that are medical related. So I think when you finish your high school, you have a few options. You want to be a doctor, you want to be an engineer, or you want to be an architect. But when you go into the university, then it's broader, that the options. And I think that it's really cool. It's very important that they find a university that have a pre-med requisites, but also that has a good relationship with a medical center, for example, that they will bring the research option, which is very valuable. Did I answer the question?
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Maria. Yes, I think that is quite a big information because probably this aspect of not only focus on the program, but also in all the benefits that you can get enrolling in A or B or C university, you can get according to your professional or personal plans. So yeah, definitely you did answer the question. And regarding all this, as Megan said, you will have to do an undergraduate program. We know there are many different majors that you can choose. And I would like to do this question to Jennifer. What majors do you recommend to the audience if they want to study a pre-medicine program?
Yeah, so at Rice in particular, just like many universities in the United States, we don't have a pre-med major per se, but we do have a lot of different majors that students can pursue. And so at Rice, if you're considering the health professions, you can major in really any discipline of interest as long as you complete the prereqs for medical school. So there is going to be rigorous coursework in things like natural sciences, so biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics, those things you will take a lot of prerequisite courses in. But that doesn't mean that you can't major in something in the humanities or in the social sciences if you wanted to. And I would also say that majoring in like a STEM field doesn't increase your chances of acceptance, but it is required that you have strong preparation in those fields. But like Maria was saying, if you're really interested or passionate in sort of related areas to medicine, you can major in a lot of different things. So we have students that major in statistics and they go on to medical school because they're really interested in maybe using data to figure out how to solve different medical questions and things like that. So I just would recommend to students to really think about their interests and think about what they love to do. And I think that you'll find that there are a lot of things as far as undergraduate majors that you can pursue to get to where you want to go.
Thank you very much. I'm not sure if Mary or Megan, would you like to add something to that?
I would just add, similar to what Jennifer just said, figure out what you're passionate about and study that, because really when a medical school is looking at your application, they're going to look at that prerequisite coursework to make sure you have those strong science bases. But what sets you apart in that process is going to be the things that you're passionate about that you're doing. So it could be your studies, any research then that you've done with those studies, any volunteering, or different clubs and organizations that maybe you've done as a part of what you're studying as well. So really figuring it out, who you are and what you're passionate about and continuing to follow that. And don't be scared if that's musical theater and you still want to study pre-med, do it. There's no advantage to picking a science major to go to medical school.
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
All right, go ahead.
No, Mary, go ahead. Yes, I was going to ask you if you have anything to add, actually.
I was just gonna echo what Megan said. I was just talking to somebody at Miami, and we have students who did one majored in musical theater actually, and is now in medical school. So it's really unique and kind of cool. I feel like that's something that's more in the US where you can major in something different, and then you're not, stuck in the same course from when you're 16 or 18, and then you have to follow that path. There's kind of some different opportunities. So definitely do what you're passionate about and do it well. Like she said, they're looking at how you do and what you're passionate about. Thank you.
That is a really good advice, not only to medicine, advice in life. I mean, do what you love, right? Thank you very much for that. And regarding that, like the university's requirements, or at least not the requirements, but the type of students that they are looking for. What type of a student are you looking for when you are reading the application? What would you like to see? Or what do you expect to see? when reading an application. And I would like to start with Mary, probably.
So for like pre-medicine,
Yes.
or okay, because I was gonna say we don't have a medical school, but so I guess really like kind of like what I said, your academics, your grades, how you're doing, what you're kind of involved in, and then your essay also, kind of seeing what you're passionate about, why you're interested in this. And then if you've done any kind of research or had any kind of hours like shadowing someone at a hospital or any kind of exposure to the medical field or any kind of healthcare experience, those are going to be the main things we look for.
Perfect. What about you, Jennifer or Maria? I'm not sure who wants to answer that.
Yeah, we can both chime in. I think my advice to students would be to really focus on the pieces of the application that you can control the most. And I think a lot of that comes down to, at least for Rice, things like the statement of purpose or your essays. That's really a place for students to show off their creativity, their independence, curiosity. All of those are things that are really important to show in your application. And yeah, do you have anything to add?
Well, I would like to add something as a mother. The university is going to look if you're a good match for that university. But I think as a student, it is your role to look which university is a good match for you. So you want to be a doctor and you want to study, probably do an undergrad, let's say in biochemistry. You're going to find a lot of universities that have that program. Now you need to find where do you feel comfortable, because it's the people, it's the weather, it's the place, it's their program, is the size of the university. All those things are very important to make that decision. That's all.
Yeah, thank you very much for that insight, Maria. And yes, of course, it's not about only looking for the right university for you. The university is always looking for the best candidate for them, and you also have to do the same, right? Yeah, thank you. Megan, I'm not sure if you have something to add. What type of the students are you looking for?
Yeah, I think I would echo what Jennifer just said about thinking about the things that you can control in your application. When you go to apply to a university, you've already completed most of your high school, so your grades are already set. Many universities in the US are now test optional as well, so you may not need to take the SAT or ACT. So really think about the things that you can control still. So that would really be your essay and to some degree your letters of recommendation, making sure that you have somebody writing your letter of recommendation who you really trust, who can show the type of student and the type of person you are. And this could be if you have a counselor at your high school, it could be that person, it could be your principal, it could be a teacher, but really picking somebody who can really help show, what kind of a person you are. Because really an application, when we're reading your application, it's almost like an interview. We're really trying to get to know who you are. And as Maria just said, it's about finding fit. So as we're reading your application, we want to make sure that you are going to be a good fit and you're going to be happy at our institutions. So being your authentic self, spending time on your essay, don't try to be somebody you're not, but really be true to who you are. And then finding that person to write that letter of recommendation to really support that. That's really going to help us when we read your application to make sure that you're going to be a good fit at our institutions.
Excellent. Thank you very much for those tips. And let's say I'm looking for programs. One of the main concerns about studying an undergraduate program and a pre-medicine program in the US, besides the requirements, is the cost of the university. We know that it is not the same to study in our home country that abroad, but specifically, I would like to ask you what type of financial aid opportunities are available for international students as the ones that are joining us today. And I would like to start with probably Mary.
Okay. So would you like me to share specifically at Miami or just kind of in general?
Yes, probably at your universities. What type of, yes.
Perfect. I could do that. So we have 4 different scholarship opportunities specifically for international students at Miami. So we have our merit-based scholarships, which students are going to be automatically reviewed for when they apply. There's no separate application required. And those kind of range between $2,000 US and $14,000 to $16,000 US. And then and those are really based on, you know, your grades and your academics. And then we have our international education scholarship. So that's kind of the same similar price range, but it's going to be based on your academic records, your essay, and kind of your application overall. And then we have 2 other opportunities. One is our Presidential Fellows Program. So that's a very, very, very competitive scholarship program we have. It is a full cost of attendance scholarship, and you get an academic enrichment stipend. Typically, it's given to 15 students per year out of 4,000. And then it's typically 2 international students. So it's a really good opportunity. And when you're applying, it does have an additional essay. So if you're going to apply for it, there's another scholarship that I'm going to go into. That is our, oh man, what's our 4th scholarship? But it also, you write an essay and you can also get a scholarship. Oh, it's the You Are Welcome Here scholarship. There we go. So that's for international students specifically who are going to enhance the campus culture and are interested in that. So those 2 scholarships, you'll do a separate essay, but it's the same essay. So definitely, if you're going to apply, I would recommend applying for both. So we have lots of different opportunities for scholarships for international students here at Miami.
Thank you, Mary. And can you combine all those scholarships? I mean, you can apply for all of them or just for one?
So students can get the merit scholarship, the international education scholarship. Those can be combined, and so can the You Are Welcome Here. But if you get the presidential fellows, that's on its own because it's maxing out everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so most students typically will get a merit scholarship and the international education scholarship. The You Are Welcome Here one is a little more competitive as well. We typically award that to between 2 and 4 students per year.
Perfect, thank you. What about you, Megan? What scholarships are available for international students at Creighton?
So every applicant to Creighton's undergraduate programs is automatically considered for our merit-based scholarships. Our maximum scholarship covers about 40% of the total tuition and fees. So that would be your total tuition, housing, food, and other fees. And then we also have some additional scholarships and special programs such as our honors and leadership programs. And those will vary based on scholarships. Some are dependent on major. So if you're thinking about studying in the fine arts, like we have a special major or a special scholarship for those students, and those can be combined with the merit-based scholarship. So it is possible to stack those on top of each other. For the special scholarships and the special programs, students do need to complete their main application for the university by December 1st. That's because the application deadline for those special scholarships is January 5th. So we want to make sure you have enough time to look at which ones you're eligible for and complete those applications. But for the main merit scholarship, there's nothing additional you need to do. Once you complete your application, when we review you for admission, we automatically will do the scholarship. So you'll know right away if you're admitted and what that main scholarship looks like.
That's good. Thank you. So you don't have like stressed students like waiting for the results about the scholarship. Thank you very much for that, Megan. And what about at Rice, Jennifer or Maria?
Yeah, so at the undergraduate level, we do offer need-based financial aid to a limited number of international students every year that are entering in the fall semester. And Rice has financial aid counselors that will work with you. So if there is any question or if you want to talk through that, what's available with somebody, they're available to kind of just break it all down for you. I would like to mention also, I know this is really mostly for undergraduate sort of pre-med track, but as you go on to medical school and you're thinking about graduate programs in some ways, I would like to say that in the United States for PhD programs, those are typically funded in the US. And so if you're thinking about a degree, that will get you to a medical or health related career, I would encourage you to think about, maybe doing some research as an undergraduate. And if you like it and you think that this is something that you could do, but you still wanted to pursue a health related career, you could go on to a PhD. Those are typically, they offer a stipend to support cost of living, and then tuition is typically waived for students as well. So just something to think about as you start to plan the next few years of your life. And Maria, do you have anything to add?
No, I think
Okay.
that's a really good option. Hard
Yeah.
path, but it's a good option.
Thank you, Jennifer. Actually, I'm gonna go back to that question about the about that comment about what is going on after you complete an undergraduate program. But before do that, I would like to probably ask Maria if she can share with us, like from their perspective as a mother of I'm not sure if your daughter is already a doctor or she's going to be a doctor, but
It's on the first year. First year of med school.
Awesome. From your perspective, what are some difficulties or challenges of an international student do a pre-medicine in the US?
Well, not exclusively for internationals, but getting used to it through the school, learning really how to study, because I know high school will give you a lot of tools and they will teach you how to study, but once you get here, it's a totally different game. So that is a challenge. I remember my daughter had to learn how to prepare for the classes. She used to go to the class and take notes, and then after that study, and when she came to Rice, it was the other way around. She had to read, she had to learn, she had to prepare, she had to have questions, and then she would go to the class and she could follow. There is something really good in the universities that they have a lot of help. Not only they have assistants with professors that they can reach and ask them, but they also have students. And we here at Rice, we have a system, it's colleges, so it's like Harry Potter. So once you get to the university, you have a college. And let's say you're at Wise. I'm a Wise associate. So at Wise, you are with people with all different majors, and you have seniors and juniors and sophomores, everybody, it's like a big family. So from those different group of peoples, they can help you. If you have a problem with physics, they will assist you, or chemistry, it can be a student, it can be a professor. And as an international, sometimes you feel shy to ask for that help. You don't know really where to go. So I would really recommend make an effort to find out what are the resources that the university is offering you, because that they are there. And I remember my daughter being super shy, like, oh no, I don't go because, maybe this is not for me, or maybe this is for somebody else. So don't be shy. Look for all the options, all the resources that the university is offering you, and take advantage of it.
Yes, thank you very much. And that is a very good advice, Maria. So for everyone that is here watching us and is looking for some options to go into the US, we know it's going to be a long and maybe complicated path, but you will have a lot of resources from the universities. No matter what university you choose, they are always open to help you with every little detail that you don't understand, and they are always trying to be welcoming at every possible level. So yeah, don't worry, you won't be alone, and they will, as Maria mentioned, they have resources for international students just to help you become the best version you ever going to be. So thank you for that advice. And okay, now I would like also talking about the resources, just to give an idea, the audience, the type of resources that they can have access if they get admitted into university. Maria already mentioned one. What about if you can choose one or two resources that you think are the most common one for international students at Creighton, Megan, what would you say?
That's a good question. There's so many. I think to pick from, and they all have very different purposes and uses. So I think one big one is the Career Center. I think a lot of students hear the name Career Center and think, but I'm so far away from my career, I don't need to start working with them until much later at university. That's not true. You should actually start working with them your very first semester of university. Most career centers are going to offer sessions on how to write a resume or a cover letter, to things like, what is business professional dress versus business casual dress in the US? What do these topics even mean? To things like, how do you network? How do you introduce yourself properly? They also host job and internship fairs, usually once or twice a year. So getting involved with that office and paying attention to what they're offering and starting early is going to be key, because one of the things that medical schools are going to look for is being involved in things like research and internships. So you have to be able to write a strong resume and cover letter, have great interview skills, good networking skills. So the Career Center will help you get there. So I would say that is definitely one. The other is a lot of universities, including Creighton, offer tutoring centers as well. I think a lot of students, especially when you go into your very first semester, you think, I'm a good student, I don't need help or support in my classes. And then you quickly realize that university level classes are very, very different than high school level classes. Even in the US, coming from a US high school and then going to university, it was a big shock for me as well. So, and I was one of those people that I was too shy to go to tutoring services. And when I first started at university, I was a chemistry student. I was a pre-medicine student. And then I realized so many other things that I wanted to do with my life. But that would be a whole different session we could go into. But I realized I probably could have done better in my classes if I kind of swallowed my pride, took advantage of the tutoring and free tutoring that was given, and really spent that time to understand how to study. How do faculty members actually want to see our assignments and papers? And learning from others and learning from, more senior students about that. So I would say those are two to definitely take advantage of, and don't be shy about. Definitely just jump right in. You'll meet people that will be your best friends, and you'll get a lot of support along the way.
Perfect, thank you. And Mary, I'm not sure if you want to add something.
Sure. So, well, now I've thought of three, but I'll just do one or two. This one's kind of broad. I mean, most universities have an Office of International Student and Scholar Services. They're going to be the ones who, they may be picking you up from the airport and taking you to your orientation. And they're going to really help you totally get acclimated to campus, to the US, with cultural adjustment. They'll be the ones you need to see if you have questions about your status. So definitely don't just leave them at the end of orientation. Keep a relationship with them, because they're definitely going to be there to help and support you. And typically they offer lots of fun, social programs, off-campus things to do on campus, and lots of cultural adjustment pieces. They may be able to tell you like, oh, there's a market around here where there's going to be food that's, something that you're used to from your home country. So definitely keep in touch with International Student Services. And then I guess the other one would kind of be your academic advisor. So this is going to be the person who will help you schedule your classes and register for them your first semester. And then you'll meet with them each semester, maybe once or twice, to go through and make sure you're staying on track with your plan to graduate. And especially if you're going to do pre-medical studies, making sure that you are checking off those boxes and taking the correct classes that you'll need. that are prerequisites for medical school. And then they can also support you, if you're having a hard time and you're afraid to go to the tutoring center or something like that, maybe you share it with them and then they can kind of nudge you and guide you and connect you to where you need to go. So those will be my top two for today.
Yes, thank you very much, Mary. I know like services or resources for international students can be another whole webinar because there are too many. But yeah, I think it was important just for the audience to get a glimpse of what they can have access. Yeah. And actually going back to the comment that Jennifer said about med school, and also just to try to also let the people know what can you do after you complete your undergraduate program. What are the processes and the requirements to apply to medicine school once you have completed your undergraduate or your pre-med program in the US? So what is next now? You finished your 4 years. What is next? And I'm not sure if I can hear from Jennifer.
Yeah, so Rice doesn't have a medical school, but we do have a lot of undergraduates that go on to med school. And when you're at Rice as an undergraduate, you'll have a pre-health advisor, and they will kind of coach you through the application process. And it's going to be very similar, I think, but Mary and Megan, please correct me if I'm wrong, but it'll be very similar to graduate school in general, right? So you're going to provide your transcripts and you're going to provide your letters of recommendation, typically a statement of purpose that kind of describes, why do you want to pursue this degree, and how will this university be a good fit for you, and kind of show your passion about that field. I would encourage you to kind of look at all different sort of options that are available to you. So in the US, you can go to medical school. There are also shorter degree programs such as occupational therapy or physical therapy, where you get a doctorate in, say, 2 years, and that's still a health-related profession. And then I also would encourage you, like Mary and Megan have said, to think about research careers. As an undergraduate who's thinking about med school, you'll probably be doing a lot of different research projects in medicine. And so it's a really great way to explore your interests. And it doesn't have to necessarily be medically related research that you're performing. At Rice, students that are as young as freshmen are able to participate in research, and they can participate every year. They'll typically end with a capstone project that kind of explores those research interests. So it's just something to keep in mind as you're going through your undergraduate career. Just try and figure out really what you want to do and what you're excited about. I don't know, Maria, do you have things to?
No.
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay, thank you very much, Rice, Team Rice. What about Megan?
So in addition to what Jennifer just listed, the other big thing that you will do for medical school entrance is the medical school exam, which is called the MCAT. This is actually something that you will take, most students will take it between their 3rd and 4th year of undergraduate university if you're planning on starting medical school right after you graduate your undergrad. So the MCAT is an 8-hour-long exam. It's kind of like the extreme version of the SAT. So as you're right now in high school looking at universities, one really good question to ask universities is how they help students prepare specifically for the MCAT. So like at Creighton, and partially because we have our own medical school, so a lot of students will come to us for undergrad and then stay here for their medical program. We have very strong support services, and one of the things that they do is they have not only a study hour weekly for the pre-med students, they also do a mock exam that is actually set up exactly the same way as the actual MCAT is. So they use an old exam. They time the breaks exactly how it would be on the normal day. They use basically the same classroom as you would do it on a normal day. So that way, you know exactly what it's going to feel like the day that you show up for that exam, and there's not going to be A lot of those nerves will go away. You know exactly what to expect. You know exactly when you can have a snack or go to the restroom or get water. So that way you feel as confident as possible going into that exam.
Yeah, thank you for explaining about the test part, because it's a really common question. That is, students are also like a little bit worried about how hard it is, how can they be prepared for it, and yeah, thank you for explaining that. Mary, I'm not sure if you want to add something.
No, I mean, just really echoing, it is a big test and it's a hard test, and you definitely have to study and prepare. And some students will choose, I've had friends who've chosen to take a gap year in between to study for the test and prepare. So that's common as well, if it's something you're able to do.
Thank you very much. And we are receiving a lot of questions, and we are going to reply them in a bit. I just want to make sure to ask this question before we wrap up. So I would like to know what other health science related programs are similar to medicine in terms of the application process. So I would like to probably start with Mary.
So I would say physician's assistant is kind of similar. So I've known a lot of people who have applied for that. It's very, very competitive as well. But you're basically a doctor almost, but it's a little less schooling. I think it's 2 or 3 years depending on the program. So you still have to take a big test to get in, but that's something. Occupational therapy or physical therapy, those are going to be doctoral programs, but they're shorter, like that's what somebody was saying, Jennifer, that those are 2 years. What else? Dentistry or pre-veterinarian, those are also going to be similar as well, where you have to take an exam, and those are longer programs as well. If anyone has anything else to add or anything I forgot, I'm trying to think. Feel free.
I see that Jenny is like doing this with her head, so I'm not sure if she wants to participate, but Jennifer, would you like to add something?
No, I think those are all great examples. There's all kinds of doctorates that you can get. PhD is just one example of a doctorate. And the road to that is sort of similar to med school in that they're both longer. So after your undergraduate degree, if you were interested in pursuing medicine, I think it's another 5 years.
Yes.
And then for PhD, it's about the same. The end result is that both degrees are still called doctor. You could still have careers in health. So just something to think about. There are a lot of options, like Mary was saying.
Perfect, Jennifer. Thank you. Megan, anything to add?
Yeah, so some other programs, so the most common programs, especially for international students, are going to be so medicine, dentistry, pharmacy, physical therapy, occupational therapy, physician's assistant, public health is another one. The tricky thing about physician's assistant, though, is that because it's not really a job that exists outside of the US, you do have to think long term if this is where you want to be. Because the degree doesn't really equate to the same thing outside of the US. Another tricky one can be with physical therapy or occupational therapy. Depending on what country you want to be in long term, there are certain programs that are a master's level. There are certain programs that are going to be a doctoral level. In the US, you're required to have the doctoral level to be a practicing therapist, either way. But some countries, you only have to do the master's level. So you might want to look at the master's programs for those programs, or like a master's in rehabilitation sciences. It just kind of, you do have to think long term, where do you want to settle and practice whatever it is that you want to practice. And then another interesting pathway is nursing, where you can just do the bachelor's in nursing. Nurses are in high demand in the US right now, so it's a great career field to go into. But once you do your bachelor's in nursing, you can always go on for a master's in nursing or even doctoral level nursing programs, depending again what your career goals are. There are some great programs that will lead you into more management nursing roles through a master's or doctoral level, or very specific types of nurses if you want to work specifically like in surgery or something like that. Or you could also get certain nursing programs that lead you to be able to be a nurse practitioner, which becomes very similar to being a doctor, where you work directly with patients, you can prescribe some medicine. So it's a very similar role. So it's nice that there are various pathways. Like one of the great things about US universities is that we have the flexibility for you to come and explore all of these different pathways. So even if you complete your application as a biology student, wanting to do pre-medicine, when you come to our campuses, you can explore all of these different options. And if, the end of your first year, you say, actually, I want to be a dentist instead of a doctor, or I want to go into physical therapy, you can still change. You're not going to be set really in what you want to do, probably until the end of your sophomore year or your second year. At that point, it becomes a little bit more difficult to change, or if you do change, it will add on more time to your bachelor's degree. But it's nice in the US to really have that flexibility to explore all of these different options.
I was taking notes because yes, that information was like really complete. Thank you very much for that, Megan. And I just would like to ask one last question, and this time it will go to Maria. Why would you encourage the audience to pursue a career in medicine or health-related program in the United States? I mean, what have been the advantages that you have seen once you can compare how it works? I mean, in Mexico, although there are other countries, but like in Latin America and in the US.
Well, in the US, you have a lot of opportunities. And as I mentioned before, like doing research at an early stage is one of them. And you have access to a lot of professionals, and it's just the resources you get in the US are fantastic. There are no limits. It's as far as you want to get. So, and you have all kind of support. I'm trying to think like specifics, but I just know that when my daughter was trying to find a research, there were so many options. It's overwhelming sometimes, and the flexibility to switch from one thing to another. I'm sure that this happens in the universities with Megan and Mary, but the students are overachievers, and they do 2 minors and a major, and they combine all these things. So I think in the US, there's a lot of flexibility in how you choose your subjects, how you go really where your interests are taking you. And then again, great labs, excellent professors. Another thing that I love about the United States, it's very international, the diversity. You get to work with professors from China, India, Nepal. You find all these people that are bringing experience from other countries. It's a beautiful experience. It's just like being in a foreign country with all these people, all aiming for a goal to learn. I highly recommend that experience. I mean, I do not regret bringing my girls to study in the US. I think they had so many opportunities and they took advantage of those. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Maria. That was so inspired. Thank you about all this international context and opportunities that you can get. And well, now it's time to hear from the audience. And for that, I'm gonna give the floor to Hector. It was a pleasure to be here with you.
Hi, everyone. We have a couple of questions from the audience. I think the first one, and the one that got first, it's can I do a bachelor's degree in another country, for example, Mexico, and then enroll into med school in the United States?
I'm happy to answer that question.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan.
So generally, no, it's not going to be an option. There's actually only one medical school that I know of in the US that will accept a bachelor's degree from outside of the US. So I would say if this is the route you want to go and you want to do your actual medical school in the US, then you should plan on doing your bachelor's degree as well. It is possible, though, for you to complete your medical degree in your home country and then come do an internship and residency program in the US. So you wouldn't have a US medical degree, but you would at least be able to get your training post degree in the US. So that's another option. It's not quite as common, but it could save you some time, it could save you some money. But if you really want that US medical degree, then I would also plan on doing your bachelor's degree in the US.
Thank you. Another question says, can Cuban students apply from Cuba?
Yeah, I would say yes. Yes.
Okay. I will give you your contact to the student just in case you can like communicate to each other. Okay. There's another one. In Panama, in high school, we have a bachelor's. Let's say if you take science bachelor's, you can go to the health field. Why can I just go to the US with my bachelor's from high school? Anyone? Anyone wants to answer that?
Can I just clarify? So are you earning a bachelor's degree at your high school? Is that what you're saying? And then you want to?
Yeah, the student is saying that he's earning a bachelor's degree from high school. I think it's something like, yeah, they call it like bachillerato, which is like a lower level from the bachelor's itself, but it's related to health and science. So the question is, why can I just go to the United States with this high school bachelor degree?
I would say that the university will take as many credits from your studies, and they will take them as APs, and that will save you some time studying, but still need to enroll in an undergrad program to get a degree from the US.
Yeah, I think that is going back to what Megan is saying about you need to have a US bachelor's degree to apply to the medical school, if I'm understanding it correctly.
Okay. Yeah, basically that will be the answer for a couple of questions that they're asking if they can go with another degree and then apply for medical school. So I think that the straight answer will be you have to apply for a bachelor's degree in the United States and then go into the medical school in the United States, right? That will be the answer. Okay, and I have one last question. Is there an age limit for applying for medical school?
No, in fact, the average age of first-year medical students is actually like 26 years old. Yes, there are a lot of students who start medical school right after they finish their undergraduate degree, but there's also a lot of people who come back, after they've completed a PhD, for example, or they've been in the workforce for a few years and have decided that this is the pathway they want to be on. So I think it's actually pretty interesting that the average age is actually much older than what most people think for students who are starting medical school.
Another one is says, I studied medicine here in Cuba. Can I apply to study nursing in the United States?
Yeah, so there's a couple different options. So some universities might have you do a full bachelor's in nursing. and they might have you transfer in some of your credits to make it a little shorter. There are some universities like mine where we have actually an accelerated nursing program where if you already hold a bachelor's degree, you can do this 1-year nursing program and have your bachelor's in nursing.
And one last question. It says, I am in my 5th year of medical school, and I don't know if I can apply for a residency in the United States after I graduate from my program right here in Mexico. So I don't know if that's an option, like applying for a
Yeah, I
residency.
know. Yeah, I know one of my friends from Guadalajara. He did a med school in Guadalajara, La Universidad Autónoma, and he did residence here at the medical center. I can't remember exactly which one of the schools, but yeah, that's possible, right, Megan? That you were just saying. Mhm.
Yeah, not every medical school offers it, but if you do your research, especially if you start planning early and do your research, you should be able to find a few places in the US to apply, a few medical schools in the US to apply for just that residency, the post-bac residency option.
Okay. Another one, what steps do I need to take in order to become a pharmacist in the US? I don't have my SAT scores yet, but I would like to know what are the first steps to become a pharmacist in the US.
So it's actually a pretty similar process to the medical school. So you'll do your bachelor's degree first, and then you'll go to pharmacy school after that. For a bachelor's degree in the US, because so many institutions are now test optional, you don't really have to worry about that SAT. You will find a university of good fit for you that doesn't require the SAT anymore. It's kind of one of the great things, in my opinion, that's come out of the pandemic is it's made admissions in some ways a little more flexible and a few less barriers for students. So that said, that does mean that we do look at other things in your application a little heavier now. So like Jennifer talked about earlier, the essay, that's something that we really look at because we really want to make sure that you're going to be a good fit. And same with that letter of recommendation. So it's going to be pretty much the same kind of application process as we talked about. And then kind of the similar process to going to pharmacy school as it would be to medical school. Instead of taking the MCAT, you would take the PCAT. But similar process, similar kind of things that they look for in that application process. Another big difference, though, is that pharmacy school is not as competitive as medical school.
And I have another one that says, if I am a US citizen, but I live and go to school in Panama, am I considered an international student?
Kinda, it depends on the university. So in terms of your visa, no, because you're a US citizen, so you don't have to go through a visa process. But every university will have a different way of how they decide to review your application. So for example, at my university, we have everybody who goes to school outside of the US. It doesn't matter what your passport says. I'm the one who's going to review your application because I'm the one who has the expertise in understanding the educational system that you're in. However, there are some universities in the US that will automatically just categorize you by citizenship. So your application might be reviewed by somebody who only looks at US citizens, but may not necessarily have as much education or knowledge about the education system in Panama. So it's kind of like you're kind of in the middle, right? There are a lot of universities as well, such as mine, that we will invite you to also come to international student orientation, because even though you don't need to come learn about the visa regulations, you still likely haven't visited our campus before. You're still probably learning about all the resources that are available to you. So it's good for you to get kind of those extra few days on campus to really understand, you know, what's available to you at the library, where's the career center, where's the dean's office for help, what are the dorm rooms like, going shopping for your dorm room, things like that.
Thank you for your answers. I think there's a couple of questions, but they are more related or more towards specific questions and a specific presenter. So I think we're gonna hand those to you and you can answer them by email. Is that okay with you?
Okay, yeah. So, well, with that, we're going to end the presentation here. I'm glad everyone had the opportunity to participate this time. Thank you to our dear presenters. They have been such a wonderful help today. And we'll hope to hear from you in the future if we get the opportunity to present another of these wonderful presentations roundtables. We will be glad to have you over again. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a nice day,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.